Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for being with me. I am Diana Popa, business coach, and today my special guest is Christelle Pilot. Christelle is the founder of Freedom Culture Academy. She has been coaching families, businesses, and schools since 2015. Her vision is to help families grow in harmony and build exceptional lives. She has a master's degree in chemical engineering and is a certified coach and trainer. She was trained in mindfulness and stress reduction for adults and children and studied personal development for over 20 years. Her work is based on 3 specific pillars: emotional energy time management, the career change of the parents, and the harmony at home for an optimal support. With her expertise and personal experience as an entrepreneur and intrapreneur and mom of 3 French-German boys, Christelle is uniquely positioned to guide working parents to reclaim their freedom. She truly believes that family is a great asset in business and at life, and that everything can be connected. This is an impressive bio. Thank you so much for being today with me, Christelle.
Thank you for having me. Very pleased to be here with you today.
Tell us more about your story and how you started on this path of moving from chemical engineering to helping others and coaching families.
Yeah. So when people that know me, so it's very clear, it's like, yeah, sure. So it's something that when we know you, so we know that it's something that you were about. But for the people on LinkedIn, when they see my bio, they're like, wow, that's strange. So what happened to me is that I did my first meditation. I was 8 years old. I started to do personal development actively with like 15 years old or something like that. So really early, because of my parents. I had this environment at home, and well, I did a mistake. I went to engineering as I was 18 years old. I wanted to go in psychology, but at that time, it's not a good path. So it's better if you stay in this engineering or technical ways, because there is a lot of work. And so I decided to go there in this direction. So that's why I have been chemical engineer. And I have been in this job or in this branch 15 years long. So it was I moved to Germany because of my job. I opened the German market for a French company, and then I moved to international sales and distributor management. And again, I love this part, the connection between different culture, the traveling. So I really love that. But the main part of my job was really selling more, right? So it was all about selling and having the money coming to the company. And I felt it was too empty. It was not the meaning of that was not present enough. And at the moment where I had 2 children, so it was a lot of energy to travel around. I was not really connected with the values of the company I was working with, and all about selling machines. So it was like, I don't know, there is something different at life. So I want to have more passion in what I do. And anyway, I had no chance to continue because I could see that my vital energy was always lower and lower, and I was always more depressive and having this struggle to go in a high level of commitment. And it's the person that I am. I like to be 100% in what I do, and at that moment it was just not possible enough anymore. And in 2013, I was like, okay, I'm losing myself. I am losing even my relationship with my husband. And I am definitely not the mom that I want to be for my children. And I have to change that before it's too late, before I don't have enough energy to change that. And I think the one last thought was, I want my children to understand that it's good to fight for their dream. But if I don't do that by myself, if I stay in this well-paid job just because it's well-paid, it's just the wrong message. And usually I'm very congruent, so I'm very aligned with who I am. And this last thought was like, okay, I have to change. And for me, it was clear that I want to go to coaching. So that was very clear. And then I needed a little bit of time to find what is my expertise, where I'm very good at, and how I can help the most. And what I have seen is that indeed I'm very strong at organizing my family, my energy, my time, and to go to my goals. I have done a lot of interviews with my with parents to look at where are the problems. And then I defined them. I have seen that they had the same problem that I had. And I just create a Freedom Catcher Academy. So to have the freedom back, it's really like the freedom inside, to be sure that we are a good parent, to be sure that we are aligned with ourselves, and to be sure that we have the impact that we want to have in our life. So it's my story.
That's amazing. Thank you, Christelle. I am very impressed. You went through many changes in your career path, and you dared actually to make these changes. And I know that not many people dare to do that and go and look for what they really want, what is their passion, and then actually take action because, as you mentioned, you need to walk the talk. Yes. For your children, for those around you. But I would like to ask you, what were the steps that you took in order to find that passion? You mentioned that coaching, you felt that this is it. How did you find it, or whether it was always there and you just took another direction and then you just went back to it?
No, so coaching has been so I wanted to be psychologist. So with 30, I told my husband, I would like to go back in this direction. And he told me, no, it's not a good idea, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, maybe I'm going to do an MBA, because I am this kind of person. I need to learn, I need to improve, I need to grow. And then, but I knew that doing an MBA was not really something that appealed to me. So it was like, maybe I can go in this direction, because there is less resistance if I go in this direction, because it's like kind of the normal path. But a few years later, so I decided, we don't have to go where there is less resistance. We have to go where we believe it's just the right way. And my husband wasn't really happy about the fact that I changed. So I really had to look at how to, I was really afraid to lose my husband as well because of this decision. So I really had to look at how to manage my time and energy and the communication at home in order that the family accept my new path. In order for me to accept my new path as well, because I was terrified.
I know the feeling.
and really it was like, okay, so first of all, I'm going to find a part-time job because I need the money, but I need as well to take care of the family. My children were very little at that moment, and I need to convince my husband as well, and I need to look as well how it works, right? So and to take the certification in order to be a coach. And what I wanted as well to see, it's what kind of coach I wanted to be. And for that it took a long time. And my clients took me in one direction that I would never think about, and it is about mindfulness for children. And that is just because of my really personal story, because during my coaching certification, I knew that my meditation, so because I am meditating for always, so it was really always part of my life, and I've seen, okay, that's so important for me. And if I want to teach my children one thing, is how to meditate, how to be in contact with the thought and the emotions. Because when you have that, you can be happy. Because the quality of your life is the quality of your thoughts and your emotions. And if you are not aware about your thought and your emotions, you cannot change them. So that's why I wanted my children to learn that. So I started to, and in Frankfurt, I found no courses for them. So I started to look at it and to teach my children how to do that. And then people have seen that around and say, okay, I want you to do the same for my children. And it's how I started to teach children, and that's why I'm a lot in schools too. But it was not something that I thought about or I decided to go in. It was really just because of my personal life.
I love that. I love when life just takes you on a certain path without you even planning for it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christelle. I would like to ask you, because you mentioned mindfulness for children to be in contact with your emotions, with your thoughts, and really understand what's happening to you. And also, I know that you are working with families to find that balance. Do you think that everyone has to work on their own, or do they have to come together and work together in order to find that balance? Or how does it work? Who does the work, and how do we do that work actually? What are the steps to do that work?
Mm-hmm. So what I have seen, so like 15 years ago, I felt trapped in my life, and the first lockdown, so I had my 3 children running around, my husband there, and I was working a lot, and I felt so free. I was like, what? That's insane. So I looked at how to find again this freedom, this inner freedom, this peace inside, and that's why I have seen that there is 3, and as for parents, because I'm really specialized for parents. For parents, there is 3 aspects really important. The first one is then to find back, or to rediscover the person that we are, because children change us. And sometimes we are so full of priorities, of things to do, that we didn't really have time to connect back to the new person that we are. So we have to find again, so what are my new values? What kind of life do I want to have? Is that the same that as I was 20? Is that completely different? So really to redesign our life as a person, not as a parent or whatever, but really as a person. What kind of family as well I want to grow, what kind of model do I want to have, and so on. So that's the first part, really to find us back and to find what matters to me. The second part is, okay, what kind of activity do I have during the day? At work, if I have a work, or if I don't have a paid work, if I am happy with that. If I am happy with that, it's great, because I have the feeling that I have impact, and usually our self-esteem is bigger, we feel better, we have more energy. So it's like, hey, I just had a great day today, maybe a difficult one, but it was impactful, it was useful, I had like my contribution today. So that's really important. And if we don't have that, we lose our energy, we lose our self-esteem, and so life is not so colorful. And the last part is harmony at home, right? Because if you don't have this harmony at home, so usually we did a family because of that. We want to have that. And for a lot of parents, it's not so easy to have the harmony at home. For a lot of different reasons, and lack of leadership, because we are afraid, so there is fear, there is a lot of component there, and so we can discover that together. So how to have a resilient family, and as a mother, because mother are have more the problem, is how to have the family functioning without me, without being the person in the center. We don't need that, but really often we create that, or we co-create that with our family, and that might be a problem at some point. So we look at that, and sure, we can do that by ourselves alone. But as one of my clients just told 1 week ago, he said, yeah, I understand now why it's interesting to go to a coach, because it's far quicker. And we coach normally when they are good enough, so they pinpoint the problem. They say, here, you have to look here. But then the people have to work by themselves. The coach can do nothing, just to say, okay, look at that, and if you agree, we can go deeper and we can deep dive together, and I can give you some ideas, some tools, but you have to have the courage, because usually it's a lot of courage, to take that and try it in your life and come back to me, and then we continue the journey together.
I fully agree with you. Thank you, Christelle, for sharing that. And this is very impressive that you came up with your own framework at looking at things based on what you lived as well. And I fully agree with you. I couldn't agree more. One aspect that I find difficult for women, because you mentioned that you don't have to be in the center of attention, that you don't have to be the one who is doing everything. And one aspect that I saw difficult in my trainings, when I participated to trainings, leadership for women, all the discussion was around how can we actually build our career whilst at the same time being a mom. You mentioned time management, you mentioned that you need support, that you need to work on it, and still many women are afraid of it. They don't know how to do it and what to do. Is there something specific you would advise them? Is it actually possible to still evolve in your career and have a family at the same time?
Yeah, so for the women who are in a job and have a team at work, I would really suggest to look at how they act at work with the team. Usually we know at work that it's better to do macro management and not micromanagement, that we have to let some space and responsibility to our team. So it's what we know that we have to do at work. So just transpose that at home. You have to let space to your team at home and even your small children. You have to trust them. They can do without you. They are going to do differently. They are going to do maybe not as good, but it's okay. It's a learning process, right? Exactly the same that we do at work. So sometimes we have some colleagues, and we know that they are not the best for this work, but we know that they have to go through the process in order to grow and to improve. And at some point, they are going to be very good, even better than what we are. So it's exactly the same there. It's to help them to grow and not to do everything for them. It's really to let them, even 3-4 years old, to have the leadership at some point. So to have like a shift of leadership at home. And that's for the children, and it is actually the same for our partners. They don't do things like we do. Eventually, they don't know how to do that. Eventually, they know how they would like to do. It's completely different than the way we would do, and we have to let go. We have to let go. We have to do like a kind of job description as well. So I had like one client, she told me, I started to work again and my husband does nothing at home and I cannot, so I'm burned already. And I asked her, yeah, but your husband, did you tell him what are the tasks? Did you discuss that with him? He has no clue how to do that, because the role before that was she was at home. She's a very organized person with her system, very clear system for her. But for him or for me, that would be exactly the same. Like, oh my God. So in her kitchen, I would be like, I don't know what to do in your kitchen, you know? And for the husband, it's actually the same, because it was not his role beforehand. So we have to do like a kind of job description, like role modeling. As I decided to quit my job as engineer, I needed like 6 months to train the new person. This new person was paid 8 hours or 7 hours a day to be trained for a job that is going to take after us. So we never train at home our team to do our job, and they are not paid for that, and they have to do that on top of their own job. And it's something that we don't really consider, and we should consider that even more. And we should accept that we are not in control of everything, and we are not so important neither.
Thank you so much, Crystal. I love that, and I have to admit that I find it frightening or terrifying because I am also in the perfectionist side, and I know that I have my own system. And I think, as you mentioned, it comes naturally when you have a team, because you are aware that that person needs to learn. But maybe you are more afraid in the family because you are thinking, okay, if my children are going to make mistakes and maybe it's something that is going to have consequences, how am I going to deal with that? And you want to help the people that are dear to you and who matter a lot to you.
Yes,
so maybe there is,
and as well, you have to, they have eventually more resistance, you know? They say, no, at work is they like, okay, I'm going to try it or whatever. But children, they have a lot of energy and they don't want to do that. And at the beginning, it's even more work for us to let them do. So that's why we are so overwhelmed and tired or whatever. So we do for them. And at some point, we have to shift that. But they understand already. So they know, I don't want to do that. So it's extra work for me. So, and they have so many energy. And we know that in negotiation, it's the one having more energy that wins.
Absolutely.
So they win all the time. Like, oh my God.
Fully agree. I fully agree. Thank you so much, Christelle. Thank you for sharing all these life lessons and important and valuable information, because I believe that everyone should apply it. And my dream is to see one day everyone working and living in peace and in balance, even if it's not perfect every day, but there is that self-esteem, as you mentioned, and happiness, because you are contributing to something bigger than yourself.
Yes,
Thank you so much for being with me today. I would like to close our interview today by asking you, who are you serving? You mentioned parents. I don't know if someone else. And how can people contact you?
Yeah, okay. So, yes, so I serve parents, mostly women, and mostly it's active women wanting to have a big impact, to do something from their life and to be a role model for their family. Where I do everything online, more or less, and where we can find me, it's like my name, so Christelle Pilot, so you can really like Google Christelle Pilot and you find me on Facebook, on internet, LinkedIn. I'm very present on LinkedIn. Yeah, so there you can find me.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Christelle, once again. I am honored to have you here on this journey. And I would like to thank you for being and dedicating your time to helping other people to develop and to grow.
Thank you very much. And I'm growing with them. So it's really like a process all together. We grow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for those of you listening to us, stay connected, because there is so much more to come.